a podcast filled with conversation and curiosity sparked by Utica Community Schools. This is UCS Podcademy.
Hi, welcome to UCS Podcademy. I am Noah DiGiovanni, and I'm a senior at Stevenson High School, and I'm here with the wonderful Miss Amber Bronson of Eisenhower High School. She is the student council advisor and the activities director and the sophomore, junior, and senior class sponsor. It's a big season in America because prom is coming up. Prom is one of the biggest staples of high school, and it's a memory that a lot of people are going to have and keep forever, and people are going to make some good memories there. So for those who don't know, what is prom all about?
I think at high schools, it's that part of that great celebration, one of those lasts that you get an opportunity to celebrate with your entire class. So, for most of us, that's 500, 600 plus kids. But in addition to that, I think social media has made it a celebration where kids can actually go to each other's proms, as friends or as dates, kids that they've met on, social media and things like that. And it gives them an opportunity to kind of have that like-minded opportunity to have a really good time and really kind of, not only flash back and think about what you've done for the last 13 years, but, what is your next chapter going to be as well? So I always see it as, that last party, that last opportunity I get to kind of make them really feel special before they go out and do their thing.
Yeah, I mean, you go out with a bang because everyone's all dressed up, and it's that last goodbye before graduation, and just everybody's got this there's this tension of just all this emotion that's flooding in because of all these people that are oh my God, I'm gonna see you one more time, and then maybe I'll never see you again, or just a lot of unknown is in that, and I think that's what makes it very beautiful. It's just that you get to see everybody at their best at the very end, and I think that's such a poetic ending to a wonderful chapter.
Oh, I absolutely agree. It's our mini Met Gala. Everybody goes to see, what you're wearing and how you look and pictures. And I mean, it really is, you hit a nail on the head in the beginning. It's a great opportunity to make memories. And it is a moment that I think the kids have the opportunity to, make it something as special as they need it to be, so that they can hold on to it forever.
Yeah. And how does starting to plan for prom begin?
Well, I kind of have conversations with the juniors and things. I really don't involve my seniors in the planning process. And the big reason is I want it to be a surprise. So even the theme is something that I kind of hold close to me until the beginning of spring. And then I'll there's just no way for me to hide it anymore. There's decorations everywhere and things like that. So the kids kind of piece things together. But really the original conversation starts happening with juniors. What kind of things are cool right now? What kind of things are fun? What do you think of, this theme or that theme? There is an excellent warehouse down in Detroit, Michigan, and they have a little bit of everything as far as props and pieces. And so for me, I start in the summer. In July, I usually take an afternoon and go down there and kind of walk through the warehouse, which is mammoth. It's at one of the old Packard plants down there. And so I get an opportunity to kind of just shop shelves for ideas. And then I take a few back with me. And like I said, once the juniors and seniors for the next year, kind of get together and start talking about what the school year is going to look like, we start having that conversation about, here are a couple possibles. What do you guys think? And so really it's a summer thing. We don't really start making real reservations with vendors and things like that till January. But the idea has been cooking for about 6 months before we actually, put things on paper.
Wow. So this is a big commitment. You gotta commit to that. That's a whole school year thing that you gotta plan out and prepare, and you have to make sure everything's perfect and right and good for the students and enjoyable for everybody.
Oh, for sure. You want them to you want it to be something that they can, really relate to, and that it's kind of a big ooh-ah moment. I know I've been doing this job. This is my 21st year. So this is my 21st prom. And every time we do this, I want it to be a little bit bigger. You want to learn from the year before and try to figure out what things you can tweak in order to get a little bit more oomph, I guess, more excitement, from the event itself. So we add, and tweak little things. The food truck thing is like a huge deal right now. And so that seems to be something that, all of the 4 high schools in Utica have all kind of bitten off of and used, for like dessert ideas and things like that. We just want it to be, to some extent, a timestamp on all of the things that are cool at the time, but at the same time, hit it in a real creative way so the kids really have fun with it.
Yeah, and since you've been doing it for 21 years, and you would know what makes a good venue, like what are the requirements for a good prom venue that everyone can enjoy and remember as like a nice environment?
Well, Noah, you and I have a lot in common because we're from really big buildings. So for us, a perfect venue is something that will fit all of us. There are a lot of beautiful banquet halls and things like that in the area. But for us, it's just finding something that has space in order to not only allow 600 kids the opportunity to come, but 600 kids that have dates, and friends and things like that they bring with them as guests as well. And so, I think for me, my first box that needs to be checked is, can I sit 750 people in your ballroom? And so once they clear that hurdle, then we can go, from there.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people. You kind of need to get a big venue. You can't have, a crowded, space.
Of course, you want to have really good food. You know what I mean? Like everybody, that's one of the biggest parts of the evening. That ticket price includes your dinner, your, the music, the entertainment, the decorations. And so obviously I'm sitting 700 kids down to dinner. I want to make sure that they're eating something, really good. And that at the same time that it's not something that's so fancy that I have half the kids saying, "Oh, I would never touch that." So we're pretty lucky. With us, we have a beautiful banquet hall right in our backyard, so less than a half a mile from the building. And so for us, it makes it not only something about the Eisenhower community, because that's something that we use and they've been great with us for so long, but it's something that's nice and close too. So, for the mom and me and the teachers and all of us, we want to make sure kids are safe, getting to and from the event. And so for us, driving less than a half a mile makes me feel like I can relax on that piece.
Yeah, it's pretty convenient for a lot of people. I think it's not very out of the way, and I feel like it's very accessible for the students and the dates and everyone from other schools that are coming to be able to come to that. And so you said that you've been doing it for 21 years, but what are the best parts of designing the prom? Like what's the best part in the process, do you think, to you?
I think for me, I love the decorations, and I love it, one, because I just think that part of it is so fun to take, one space and transform it into something absolutely different. But I like it also because it's that first thing the kids see when they walk into the room. And I love the oohs and ahs, that, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful kind of a thing. And so I think I think it's a great way to just make a huge impact right away. The evening is going to turn into whatever the evening is going to turn into. But that immediate exhilaration that kind of comes from someone put all this time together just for me to make sure I have a nice time. I think that's the piece that's real special to me.
Yeah, I mean, if I was in charge of that, I mean, I would love for people to be like, you're in a completely different space. You're just in this like magical area, like you see in all those high school movies as kids. You're always like, oh my God, prom's gonna be just like that, and it can turn out like that in the right environment, like you said. So speaking of, you've been doing this again for 21 years. What are some of the best moments, or what are some of the most memorable or unforgettable moments of prom that you've encountered or experienced?
So unforgettable, one I will never forget, and it probably wasn't my greatest moment, but it's the idea of that in that time period, you just have to be really quick and flexible. I had these humongous glass cylinders in the middle of the table. We were doing an underwater theme, and they probably held about 15 gallons of water. I mean, they were mammoth, and we filled it with fish, and we floated a candle on the top. And so probably 15 minutes before we opened the door, and at Eisenhower, we do a prom paparazzi. We invite the parents in for the hour prior to the event so they can take pictures and see the decorations. So 15 minutes before I open the doors, a candle comes too close to the side of the cylinder, and it busts the cylinder. So 15 gallons of water all over, linens, tablecloth, everything, chair covers, water is everywhere on the floor. And it's just one of those moments you're like, Yeah, because it's not something that anyone had warned us that was like a thing. So now I have fish flopping around on a table, and it's 15 minutes to go time. So these are the reasons you order extra linens and extra chair covers, because luckily for me, I work with wonderful people at Eisenhower, and my chaperones are our staff members, and they literally swam into action and had to pull everything apart, take everything, and then we basically just kind of went into the back of Palazzo with what can we make work, and they had a bunch of vases that had been left from an event, and we filled them with water. We picked up our fish and dropped them in there, and actually that one of those fish came home with me that night, and my kids named it Sharky Princess, because I have a boy and a girl, so that's how that happens for you. It lived for like 5 years after being on the table of a prom, and it is just, for me, it's one of my funniest, most memorable moments that I just can't forget about. But it's, obviously not something necessarily you want to happen every single year. But yeah, no, I think themes and stuff stick out. We had a black and white ball at prom one year. We did Morocco, was our actual last prom in 2019 because of the pandemic.
Wow, yeah.
We've kind of been out of the swing for a little while. And we did a, beautiful kind of tissued tents and lanterns. And it was just, it really, like you had said, it really transported you to a different, beautiful place. That's probably one of my favorite themes. But I'll be honest, seeing the kids have a good time with each other and dance and laugh and smile for pictures and hug kids that they, may not have seen every single day in high school, but we went to kindergarten together. Let's get a picture for our moms. I think those are my favorite memories every year. They repeat. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've stayed with it as long as I have. It's just super special.
Just growing up with people and just seeing them in the hallways maybe once a day or once a week and just giving them that little smile. And then seeing them at prom is just like a full circle moment. And it's something that you really want to see at that prom. And I know that it makes a lot of people it's very bittersweet. I mean, it's never going to be perfect and you can't expect that. But speaking of COVID and your last prom, how has COVID affected the way that you plan prom or social gatherings like that?
I think this one is the opportunity to kind of go back and remind everybody why this is so important. In 2020, obviously, we didn't have the opportunity to get together at all, in the spring. And our commencements was this, awesome idea that kind of just really, came up from the ground, and we did graduation in our parking lots. And as weird as it is, it seemed almost more personal to be able to see the kids and not necessarily see them, because of masks and things like that, but to still be in that space and really kind of treasure what those moments are supposed to be like. Last year, we still had some limitations. And so we moved our prom outdoors, and we did a little bit more of kind of like a garden theme in the parking lot. And I know we were fortunate. We had a beautiful day, outside. But it still didn't quite feel like prom. It just felt like a fun little party that you said earlier, in the old movies or whatever. It just wasn't quite it. I think we're more excited to get back to, what it used to be, what it was supposed to look like and feel like. And so I know I am looking at it as the opportunity to really do a big kickoff to start this whole, process all over again. These kids have all had an interesting high school experience. There have been things that they have, missed out on. There are other things that they've gotten because, changes had to be made, and Plan Bs, guys, aren't so bad. But in this particular case, I think I'm just excited to give them something that was supposed to be part of the high school experience. This is a group of kids who really didn't have high school like you would see in a movie. And so to be able to give them that celebration that they were supposed to have between, prom and commencements, I'm really excited for the kids to have the opportunity to have that experience back, and kind of finish off how it was supposed to.
Yeah, it's just, and especially as a student, it's very hard to not have those experiences as you grow up. But when, COVID hit, a lot of the high schoolers that are graduating this year especially didn't have that experience. And maybe this is their first full year at the school, and this might be this is their last year. So it's very upsetting, but you know what? Like, work around it. And this year's prom, and hopefully we'll capture that magical moment that you guys had for the last 21 years. Because it's hard to get back into it, but I think everyone was like everyone really wants that prom. Everyone really wants to dress up and show off. It's just the part of the high school experience. Why is prom so important to people, not only students, but to teachers, to parents, to anyone who's involved in the process? Why is it so important for everyone in America, especially? Like, why is it such a staple?
It's funny. I think going back to the pandemic question, when, everyone was in the midst of the lockdown and then the emergence right there at the end of the school year in 2020, we got so many phone calls. The kids deserve this. They need to have this. You have to give this to them. It really has become a real rite of passage. It's something that is not necessarily an extra or a bonus anymore to your high school experience. This is one of the things, you look forward to. And I think that was like one of the first times where you realize it's not just a party, where everybody gets the opportunity to, dance to their favorite song. It really is much more, I think what you alluded to in the beginning, it is that memorable celebration that kids have looked forward to since they were little kids. And some of it is, sure, movie exposure and things like that. But I think they've worked up to that moment. So I just think that, for myself, for my fellow teachers in the building, I think that that's something that we want to give those kids. It's a great way to kind of mark the end, and, to say our goodbyes. Like you said, you guys love to see each other dressed up. We love to see you dressed up. It's crazy to see, the sweatpant t-shirt kid all of a sudden, come in a full tux and, a blown out do and the whole 9 yards. And the girl who, really came to school every single day, for academic purpose and maybe didn't necessarily go out of her way every single day to, dress to impress, and to have that big sparkle ball gown, come into a room complete with glitter and curls. And it is just, I think it's something that we get really excited to see what that transformation looks like. It's a little bit of, Met Gala audience, what are you wearing? And oh my gosh, I had a girl once in a full gold sequence sparkled like a Scarlett O'Hara dress, who had arrived in a horse and buggy, at the Palazzo off of 25 Mile Road. I mean, these sorts of things happen. So that kind of, the fun, I guess, that comes with that. And I think is something that we all love the kids to really live that moment, that evening to its fullest. And at the same time, throw your Converse on with your dress and, go out there and have a great time and don't be uncomfortable and, you know what I mean? And you do you kind of a thing. So I just think, we know that it's a gift for them. We know it's a night that they're going to remember forever. Like you said, it's something they're going to tell their kids about. And so I think we feel like we have a duty to make sure that we give them that best opportunity. For parents, again, that prom paparazzi in that first hour, that same sort of reunion that happens with you guys, finding that friend from kindergarten and taking a picture. I love seeing the parents reconnect. At one point they were room moms together, and they went to baseball practices. And now all of a sudden their kids are graduating, and the opportunity to see each other and give a hug and a squeeze and reminisce. I just think that's a wonderful gift for the community and our parents as well.
Yeah, it's really exciting for a lot of people to have this experience again, and to know that we're going to be able to complete this year. We're going to be able to see everyone, and we're all here together, and we're all here for just to have fun. And I think it's just a big send off to the real world. Is there anything else on your mind about prom?
I think, I guess I want to just kind of hit back on that. If I was going to give advice to the future prom goers, it is just that, do your absolute best to make it the night that makes you the happiest. You shouldn't be making decisions, that you think your friends would want you to do. You should make things that are, this is it. This is your last, kind of hurrah. So if you think, red is your color, it's your color. If you think you want to dance like no one's watching, absolutely do it. And when you make those decisions, about, who you go with and how you get there, and just do something that absolutely kind of makes it a memory for yourself. The happy memory, or the happiest memory that you want it to be. It's funny, homecomings, we always giggle that there's always like the breakup bathroom where it seems like couples don't necessarily, the evening does not go the way they plan. But I will be honest, I feel like prom is always just a happy event. And I think that is exactly what I wish for those kids. And so in these last 3 weeks, seniors, I really feel like you should do you as much as possible. Make every single memory count. Take every opportunity to, say your goodbyes and hug your friends and go back and reconnect with your kindergarten best friend, and make this last 3 weeks that which is to last you a lifetime, those memories. And let prom be that celebration. Have a great time and be safe.
Yeah, I really like that. I think it's the best night to be you, and I think it's the last night you could be you. It's the last night you'll probably be with all those kids other than graduation, but again, graduation's a different environment. All right, thank you, Ms. Bronson, for joining us. I really appreciate the talk about prom and what it's all about. And thank you for listening to the UCS Podcademy. I'm Noah DiGiovanni. Tune into the next episode. Take care.
UCS Podcademy is a resource created by Utica Community Schools, Michigan's second largest school district located in Macomb County. Thank you for listening. UCS Podcademy is always available at uticak12.org/Podcademy. Through this website, you'll be able to listen to additional episodes and access any resources and show notes featured in this episode. If you have episode recommendations, we invite you to send them via email to ucs@uticak12.org.